Guys, there's news about the sinking of the Bayesian superyacht at the coast of Sicily. The Italian prosecutors open a shipwreck and manslaughter investigation into this superyacht sinking. So the prosecutors in Italy have said on Saturday that they have opened this investigation into shipwreck and manslaughter after this superyacht capsized during a storm off the coast of Sicily, where 7 people on board were lost. They lost their lives out of 22 people. So the prosecutor Ambrogio Cartosio has confirmed this investigation, but he said there is no suspect currently identified. So we have to hear what the captain is saying. We have to hear what the crew is saying. Was the keel lifted up? That would have led to a significant loss of stability for the boat in case of a wind pushing against the mast. They said when they were diving down there, they found some entrances into the body of the ship left open. But the question is, were they opened for people that wanted to escape when the ship was sinking, or were they the cause for the sinking? The company that builds the ship is very suspicious, and they say it must be multiple failure and fatal misbehaviors from the crew, because they said that boat is unsinkable. But every boat is only unsinkable if water cannot penetrate the boat. So if anything is left open, that's a problem. So what the prosecutors are saying, we are only in the initial phase of the investigation. Yes, it just happened last Monday. He says we can't exclude any sort of development at present. And guys, there's already conspiracy theories because the owner of the yacht was involved into some business dealings and some lawyer that died mysteriously during the same time. I don't want to get into this, and I really don't believe, let's say you even want to and someone that was on that boat, there was really a storm and there was something tornado water sprout like, and I believe this was just a bad chain of coincidences and mistakes that were made. But we need to find out what were the mistakes that were made. So it is interesting that they say we can't exclude any sort of development. I'm a little surprised that there were divers down there that were recovering the people that were lost down there. So they must have seen enough. What about the keel? What about the mast? What I have heard is the mast wasn't broken. So we heard some doors were open that would have been potentially could have been the cause to let the water in. But still, we should know maybe more by now what would have been the likely cause. Of course, the main question that the investigators are focusing right now is how a sailing vessel that is deemed unsinkable by its manufacturer, that's the Italian shipyard Perini Navi, sank while a nearby sailboat, and I think the guy was German, remained largely unscathed. But there were interviews with the guy who owned the other sailboat, so he was taking precautions. He was turning on his engines to stay afloat, to fight against the current and the winds, and he was actively watching that storm and being careful. On the Bayesian, I think they were having a party or something. And you know what I'm wondering in general? Let's say you're a billionaire or a multi-millionaire and you have so much money and you have a private jet or something. You want to find a reliable, experienced pilot. I think with money, that is quite easy, because what I would do, I would just go to Lufthansa or American Airlines or whatever, and I would search for an experienced pilot and I'd say, hey, can you fly my private jet, right? I'd be worried that I would crash. But, with these private yachts, if it's a motorized yacht, not a sailboat, it might be easier to get an experienced captain. But it's not like that we have many commercial sailing vessels cruising around with all these highly trained and experienced captains on board. Like we have so many airplanes, pilots flying with highly trained. So where do you get a captain for a boat like this, a $56 million super yacht? I mean, even if you have experience with sailboats and smaller boats and you've sailed all your life, yes, you know the principles, right? I have sailed all my life. You've probably seen the picture in my last video. So I have sailed boats up to 40 feet. And of course, I know the principles, but a large boat like this, of course, it behaves differently. I would not be afraid to try to maneuver this boat and everything and learn about this boat. But still, you know, if you hire someone or if you hire a crew, how do you know that they know everything about this boat? How it behaves with this extraordinary tall mast and everything. But you know what? That is more during sailing. If you're anchoring and there's a storm, you don't need to be super experienced with a sailing vessel. In my experience, it's okay if you drive a motorboat. There's a few basic principles. Is my anchor, will it hold? You have to watch that. Is my boat closed so that no water can get in? I mean, that's the first principle. Even if you're sailing in a little dinghy, you know, if the water comes in, you have a big problem, right? So if that was really the case, that they left something open, I mean, we know the Titanic, was it because they thought it's unsinkable that they risk more, or weren't careful enough because they thought it's unsinkable anyways? But, you know, I would like to know more details. Why was the Bayesian unsinkable? Did it also have, like the Titanic, several compartments? If this compartment fills with water, but there's an automatic shut off to the other compartments? But it seems since this vessel was sinking within a minute, that's what the other skipper of the other boat said, the water must have like been rushing in there. So it doesn't sound like there was any compartment that was blocking any water from anything. So maybe it was some kind of design flaw. When we look at that front area with that tent cover, it goes down and has like a sitting area, but if that fills up with water, it's like a pool. So many questions, and I understand that this is the main question of the investigators as well. How could it sink that quickly? Even if it catches a little water, this should go more slowly, right? Even the Titanic didn't sink that fast. So rescuers on Friday found the last of the 7 missing people that were thought to be inside the boat on the ocean floor. And imagine that boat is 180 foot long, like 56 meters. It's a British flagged luxury yacht. The owner was considered to be the Bill Gates of Britain. And the sailboat had a crew of 10 people and it had 12 passengers, right? So 22 people were on board. So the last person they found was to be believed the daughter of the owner, the daughter Hannah Lynch, 18 years old only. Isn't it crazy, like the Titan submersible disaster where we had that innocent 19-year-old teenager? But you know, going into the Titan, I mean, you know, the risk being on a boat like this, I would not have been worried, but I'm aware of my surroundings when I'm on a boat, and if I know that there's bad weather coming, I would still have checked everything. If I see something, I would have said something to the crew, but that's just me, and maybe I'm a freak, whatever, right? So the owner of the yacht had been celebrating his recent acquittal on fraud charges with his family and with his lawyers, with the people that defended him in that case in the United States. So also his wife was on the boat, and she's among the 15 survivors that survived that capsizing or whatever it was of the yacht. So the civil protection officials said they believe the yacht that had a 75-meter tall mast, that's 246 feet. That is huge. It's an aluminum mast that they think that mast was struck by a tornado over the water, called a water spout, and sank quickly. Well, but still, how? The other boat had no problem, right? And if everything is watertight, if the keel is down, it should not have a problem, period. So rescuers did struggle for 4 days to find everyone. And it was hard for them. They could only make a slow headway through the interior of the shipwreck. So it was lying on the seabed 50 meters, that's 164 feet below the surface. So it's dark down there. So of course the Lynch family is devastated and they are in shock. And I can't imagine how horrible this must be for the mother. You know, you're losing your husband and your daughter. This is something you can't overcome. You know, the family spokesman said that their thoughts are with everyone that is affected by the tragedy, right? There were more people that were lost. And you see the pictures here of the daughter, beautiful girl. And so what has happened? We will have to wait and see. There's much speculations, there's many rumors, but I just thought I wanted to let you know that the Italian officials are also investigating. And I'm pretty sure for the company that builds ship like this is bad. This is really bad. Because now for people that are thinking about buying a yacht, this yacht was produced, I think, in 2008. It raises questions, right? You feel insecure. Would you really buy a boat like this when you don't know what was it really? Is it really clear that it was some user error? But even then, should it really be possible that there's such a troubling user error that could do such a quick sinking of the boat? So even if you leave something open that gives you access to the water for swimming and a ladder or a boat that wants to come access the boat, there should be a second or a third double security door, or detectors that when they detect water, they close automatically, whatever. But, you know, we will have to wait and see. I don't like the fact that it was possible for so much water to enter the boat so quickly, no matter what the user error was. So I'm very, very interested in this. I kind of suspect that would be an explanation for me that the keel was up. They had this retractable keel so that it would be less noise if they want to sleep, because if the keel is down, they said it's moving and makes some noise. But that's your most crucial part if you have such a high mast. I would have, if I was the owner, I would have ordered the keel down at all times, unless I'm entering a port with more shallow water where I have to retract it. But in a port, if I'm docked, I'm more safe, right? But other than that, could they have forgotten that? I don't know. That's why I don't like the idea of a retractable keel. I would like to have the keel in one piece on the body, on the boat. Nothing can get loose, nothing can break. That's how I feel safe if I am sailing. And I'm always looking out for boats that if they capsize, that they capsize through. If the keel needs to have a long and heavy keel. That's what I like, right? But everything has to be closed. If you have the opening towards the inside, if that's open and you capsize, bye-bye, right? So yeah, I don't want to draw any conclusions before we know more, but I thought I'd let you know about this. I find this still fascinating and interesting, and I hope you do too. If you do, if you're new here, subscribe. Check out my Titan videos about the Titan submersible. One of my videos just hit 1 million views, so I'm mega excited about that, because that was one of my, or was it the first video that I uploaded on this channel? And what a success if that's one of your first videos. And that video got me my watch hours and got me monetized in just 3 days. I monetized this channel in 3 days, and I'm over the moon. And thank you guys. It's your work for doing this and for staying with me on that channel. I'm beyond grateful, and I'm still humbled by what this channel has become, and I'm overwhelmed by this. And I'm, like I said, you are my viewers, you did this, so thanks guys. And I hope to see you very, very soon. Check out my Campi Fliegeri video that I just released. There's some information about that. And of course, check out my Iceland videos. That volcano just erupted again yesterday, and boy has it produced a large lava spread. So check out the videos. They're all here in the end screen, and if you don't find them there, go to my channel page. If you want to become a channel member, that will be awesome, guys. Click the join button and then I see you there with exclusive behind the scenes content. Bye, guys.